played out already.
Yes.
Okay. You've not nominated your vice presidential candidate, or have you?
No.
Why?
Because we are consulting. You see, that's why our politics is different from the man-no-man politics. What my brother called Mamadu politics. You get my point? So, two people inside the room say, you'll be my vice. It doesn't work like that. If you do deep consultation across the country, interest group, supporters group, different, so it's consultation is going on. We have prospects, and we are checking their background. For you to vet a vice presidential candidate, you need at least 90 days. Yes, because you have to get their biography, check where they have worked before, all the addresses they have lived before, if they've had different marriages before, what are their spouses say about them, if they work before, if they are professional, what are their clients saying about them, if they check banks, credit people to check whether they are owing bank money, whether they have cases in EFCC. I don't want to have a vice president and then they will call in and say, okay, you know what, file number so is up now. You will start shaking like a jelly. So you need to do all of that. Then you scout through the media. We have a team of media researchers. What has he said before? Has he spoken against Nigeria before? Has he spoken against sections of Nigeria before? These things, it's a deep search. If you want to be in government, it's a thing you need to do.
But this parameter or criteria you've listed, if you're going to spend 90 days, won't time catch up with you?
We started long ago.
Okay.
We started long ago, and we are towards the end of it. We'll spend about 70 days out of the 90 days now.
But I know former VP Atiku has also not nominated, announced a VP. Peter Obi, of course, him and Kwankwaso.
That's what gunpoint marriage. Marriage at gunpoint.
Donald Duke also has not nominated. But referring specifically to your person, is there any condition under which you'll be willing to appear with any of your colleague presidential candidates?
That's for the party to decide. But what I can say is this. It's like this, my cap. You don't need to talk to anybody. Just put the cap on the table.
They will know who it belongs to.
So when you come, you put the cap on your head. If it fits, we have criteria for the person who should be president. And our criteria are 5.
Okay.
He must be ready to be president on day 1.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter whether you are young, you talk fast, you do everything. Anybody can die anytime. Anybody can run into trouble anytime. So the VP must be ready to be president on day 1. 2, he must be a person who is versatile in the economy. Because it is written, the way it is structured in our constitution, unlike what President TINUBU is doing anyhow now, the vice president is supposed to be the person leading the economic team. 3, he must be a person who is fearless and independent-minded. Not a person who's looking for a job, boy. No.
A VP who can stand up to you and challenge you.
If he cannot, then he cannot be VP.
Oh, really?
Because it's the last person with me. When everybody say, hey, fantastic, it's one who shut it down and say, not fantastic. This is not correct. So, and because of my relative inexperience in government, he has to be somebody who's like an Obama-Biden complex. So somebody who is experienced in the good part of government, who is well-versed in government, and who is a little older so that the older generation don't feel left out. And it has to also match the demographic configuration in Nigeria to avoid distractions. Otherwise, that can show lack of sensitivity to say, oh, so you don't even know that we're in a diverse society and this is not diverse enough.
Let me put you on this spot, Prince. In discussing with various politicians, from various political parties concerning this issue of presidential candidates and nomination of VP candidates, your name has come up here and there. People are saying specifically that you've been identified as a possible peer, to VP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Would you consider being vice presidential candidate to former VP Atiku Abubakar?
Okay, let me tell you something. I respect Waziri Abubakar Atiku very well. We have a respectful relationship.
Mutually respectful.
Yes, he has my number. I have his number. Okay. You get my point? And this issue hasn't come up, so it is not responsible.
If Atiku Abubakar calls you now, what would be your response?
If he calls me now, if he calls me now, I will have to answer his phone. I will interrupt your interview and answer his phone, and I will greet him. But he knows me more than all these people who are speculating. He knows my views about government. I respect him as a Democrat. Let me tell you why I respect Atiku. He has never served in a military government before. And in those days of Abacha, when everybody was falling all over themselves, he maintained respectable distance. And to say something which is an irony, he was the first presidential candidate or aspirant that I supported. Because in 1991, when I joined the SDP, around later 91, there were two candidates. He was running, Abiola was running, because at that time, we were thinking Yaradua was going to be the candidate. Now, when Babangida banned Yaradua, Babangida government, that is to say, banned Yaradua, and then Abiola came up, and Atiku came up. Then, our national chairman, Babagana Kingebe, who was supposed to be the umpire, suddenly came up too and said he wanted to run. I was told by Jack and Co that he was the governor pushing him. Whatever. But I supported Atiku because he was the youngest of them. He looked young. So I thought, okay, let me support this person. So I was in 1991 all over Lagos, pasting his poster. Eventually, just convention, he lost to Abiola, and then eventually Abiola chose Kingibe. Then that's so. For me, as a 19-year-old, I had supported Atiku for president. I don't think Atiku considered it unjust to support me for president now, because at that time, it was about my age. That time, in fact, he was even younger than me at that time. So, and when he was in government with Obasanjo, they can't say I didn't offer 1 or 2 citizenship assistance to them. So it is my turn now, turn of my generation now, to talk to them. So I personally don't think, and this is just me talking, I don't think that the presidency is, and I'm not being an ageist, the presidency is not a place for elderly people. Because however much you love football, however much you are passionate and you love football, you cannot join Super Eagles at the age of 80. And the president of Nigeria needs as much stamina as the coach or captain of Super Eagles. So I don't think that Vice President Atiku Abubakar's only way to serve Nigeria is for him to be president and not be able to execute it properly. And let me tell you why. President Muhammadu Buhari himself said, when he was elected, around 2016, he said, I wish I had gotten this position when I was younger. And I was very close to Chief Adekunle Ajasin, former governor of Ondo State. And on 1 or 2 occasions, in those Nadeko days, I would run to his house. One day I ran to his house, discussed some issues and talking very fast. He said, young man, I'm not young anymore. If I was young, a lot of these things you are saying, I can do them. Go and see Bola Ige, somebody. So what I'm bringing out of this is that Atiku Abubakar, if he was younger, he could be a good president. I can tell you that. And he's a Democrat. He is committed to multi-party democracy, and we need to give him credit. But there's a time when something is just too late.
Okay. Some would counter this narrative by saying the best example of an 80-year-old president is President Donald Trump. Most young men.
And how is that going well in America?
Forget about how he's carrying on with the office. But in terms of energy, because that's your argument to nullify Atiku, is that he lacks the energy, even though you don't want to be ageist. But My point is that
I am not
President
talking about
Trump-
Atiku, I'm talking about the office, that the way the office is designed,
Yes.
and I don't want to cut you. First in America, you saw what happened to Biden. Biden, at a stage, did not remember the 4 cardinal points, north, east, west, and south anymore. If you listen to Donald Trump, and you listen to Donald Trump when he was much younger, I knew Donald Trump in New York before he entered politics. So I have an advantage over many people. It's not the same Donald Trump. Particularly in Nigeria, we don't have the health system. We don't have the bureaucratic system to support a presidency. The Nigerian president is virtually on his own. We don't have advanced institutions. America has over 85 national institutions that support the president. That the president can just press a button and he gets what he wants. In Nigeria, we are still in the formative stage of that. And the morphology of our politics has not given us that governmental physiology that will make us to be able to do that. So the president has to be a person who is awake 20 hours a day, is able to spring all over the place, has retentive memory, has all of these things. In my own recommendation, I wouldn't ask my father if he was alive at this age to go and take that kind of job. My mother is still alive, and she's a patriot. She's very patriotic. My mother is as patriotic as anybody can come. But I would not encourage my mother to go and run for president at this time. So, out of respect for Vice President Atiku Abubakar, we can do this job for him. We can listen to him. He has fantastic ideas. And unlike many people who are in politics today, he's a person who is a pan-Nigerian and who has seen it all. He's done well in business. He's linked to all parts of Nigeria. But this job is just too late.
Okay, but let's round up on that issue of VP. If it comes to you, at least you will listen to him. Let's agree on that. You will listen to him.
I listen to it. Because if I'm listening to you, I listen to everything. But
I'm not offering you VP-ship now.
no, I'm saying that, no, I'm not looking for a job.
Okay.
I'm looking for a solution to the problems of my country.
Exactly.
So if I see a person
Yes.
who has these solutions and who has the energy and everything, I don't have to even be anything around the person. Right now, if President TINUBU, right now, change his ways, has an epiphany, somebody out of these people who go to the villa,
appears to him.
if they go to him and they change his life,
Yes.
and he tackles security decisively, shows accountability in government, has sympathy and empathy for the people, follow the Constitution. If he start doing that in the next 6 months, I must start having second thoughts. Maybe I'm better off to go and run my law office because what I want to do is already been done. The reason why I'm out here is that they are practically killing the country. They are slaughtering the country alive. And I'm sitting down, what will I say? One of the greatest, I go around elder statesmen. I have many of them that I respect. And I always see them close to tears. You can't go and talk to Philip Asiodu when he looks at what they wanted the country to be. You need to see the halo of sadness around Emeka Anyaoku. When they look at what the country could be, why would Chinua Achebe write there was a country? That country is in their mind. So when they see what that country could have been and what it is today, I don't want to be old like that and sit down in my house. My grandchildren are being run away from kidnappers. There's no multiple road to live. I'm now another statesman sitting in my house. There's no potable water. So the electricity is gone. People are not safe. I cannot, in my old age, drive to attend a wedding somewhere. I'm afraid. I don't want to be like that. That's why I'm doing all of these things. It's not that I'm looking for a job. So I need to be able to have a presidency that can tackle this problem in short order because Nigeria is running out of time. If you know what's going on in the world, and I know you know, there's a dearth of statesmanship in the world. There's hardly, you can't count 5 countries in the world that have statesmen. Maybe Canada with Carney, a few other places, but most parts of the world, the politics is broken. United Nations has virtually collapsed. WTO has disappeared. What does it tell you? That we need to give leadership to ourselves at home. Because I was just reading one insult this morning where Kuwait even disqualify Nigeria from bringing houseboy and house girls. To show you that not to be a doctor, just to be a houseboy and house girl, they said we don't even want you. So you need to listen to me. This generation needs to rescue the country. These problems are ours to solve. The problem that were meant for Atiku to solve, he has tried his best in the past. These problems are mine now. And in the next 10 years, they won't be mine anymore. They will be for the next generation to come.
Now, last question, Prince. We've had all this conversation about, and you've talked variously about removing President TINUBU. In your crystal ball, as you project into the future, next year, January elections, how can you even, what gives you hope? In present day realities, what gives you hope that defeating President TINUBU is possible?
President TINUBU is already defeated. Oh, wow. You know what they said about Boko Haram last time? Technically defeated. President TINUBU has been demographically, economically, politically defeated. Wow. What he is hoping on is a truncated transition program where one party will have two candidates, they will be in court, INEC will miss your name, so they will be distracting you. President TINUBU is not popular in the South. He doesn't understand what's going on in the North. It's a disappointment in the West. It's an anathema in the East. And in the center cannot hold for him. So what he is hoping on is that the Nigerian people will be so disillusioned, so annoyed, so hopeless that they won't bother to come out. Because he will now be able to patch together his renewed hopelessness ambassadors and then get them to distribute rice. Because I don't know if it happened in your school. When we were in school, we used to have dispensary in school when we were in. If you fell down, they'll give you Lucozade. Yeah. If your stomach is paining you, they give you Lucozade. Glucose and Lucozade. Yeah. That's how President TINUBU is. It's a Lucozade government. If you say bandit is chasing you, bag of rice. There's no NEPA in your area, bag of rice. So he believes in the power of bag of rice. And that's why he's thinking that, okay, if I make life harder, if I make it tougher, and bag of rice looks like, oh Lord, the Lord has come down. So why I have my confidence is that it's not going to work. The people are going to come out. They are going to ignore that broom, and they are going to put it on the White Horse. And we are going around the country to ensure that happens. President TINUBU is not a viable presidential candidate. He knows. Those who don't know, or those who want to know, are those who don't know what to do when TINUBU goes. But President TINUBU himself knows that he's not a viable presidential candidate. He knows that he has failed on his mandate. He knows that he doesn't even have manpower to use. Look at what has happened to him. You have a serious problem with the economy. You had Wale Edu, who used to be right once a month. You threw him away and brought an unlettered tax collector to come and manage economy that has multipliers. So you are saying that you were traveling by keke napep. It was too slow. So what's the solution? Is to now get a snail, to ride at the back of a snail. So Wale Edu at least was a very slow speed fellow facing the right direction. This one is a combobulated person who has no single thought on the economy. Wow. So who believes, who should have sent to Inland Revenue or National Revenue Service to collect his money and count it and hand over to him. So what I'm bringing out is that I'm happy for the gentleman that got a job, but it is President TINUBU who has shown to you that instead of getting better, he has run out of ideas and he has run out of people. Because if you have not run out of people, in this critical area of the economy, you will have enough people. Yes. So this is his own idea now of Awolowo. When Gawan went and chose Awolowo as Minister of Finance. Yes, this is his own version of it. And I've been waiting. This is the person who will help you tackle the Bretton Woods institutions. This person who will grow your industry for you. And where is the conversation? And do you see them? Do you see? All over the world, we have the 10 and 11 pairing. We had it in Nigeria before. The Prime Minister, Minister of Finance. We have it in the US, the Treasury Secretary and the President. Have you seen them? There's no pairing. They have never sat together to discuss the economy. So they just announced the gentleman's name. He's sitting there and shuffling files. So what I'm letting you know is that President TINUBU is not on the ballot.
Even if his name is there?
He's not on the ballot. He's just hoping that the election will not work and that some abracadabra will work. But if it is one man, one vote, woman vote, man vote, you remember Olawale means play.
Yes.
Man talk, woman talk. If it's man vote, woman vote, bye-bye TINUBU.